Hello and welcome to round one with Living End. It looks like Magic Online tried to be helpful and preemptively pop out our graveyard. This hand is fine. It's got cyclers, a violent outburst, a backup violent outburst, lands. I don't know what else I could ask for. I guess like a street wraith, and I don't know. We'll see. Maybe not a blue opponent. Well, I guess violent outburst. If there's any card that's gonna get through here, it's that one. Um, Because my opponent's blue, I like the idea of going surprise factor here, where I just potentially just I guess 6 power isn't a ton to outburst out, but so we're probably playing versus Storm, which is a terrible matchup. Just really atrocious. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. So in the past, talking to people who play Living End, the issue the storm decks historically, the way you've beat them is with ley lines out of the board, and I don't have those. So my post board plan is going to involve Ingot Chewer's not. I don't think they have really anything like all the cards that hate me hate them, so they don't have any like relics or whatever. My Beast Withins are going to be huge, stuff like that. Yeah, if they had led on a slight, I would have aggressively cycled, but because they led on just a generic island, I could be playing against literally any blue deck in the format. Where like getting the drop on them if they are like not expecting to have to leave up remand mana is pretty important. But I'm gonna cycle this dead shot with the forest so that I don't have to. If I draw a Carabid, I want to put more toughness or more power into the graveyard. No need to do that. So I do. It is worth noting that I have my opponent dead in 2 attacks. There's no need to go off on my main phase. I should be able to go off if they play an Electromancer. So let's think about sideboarding. I have a feeling this game's not going to go well. Good news is I did not get punished for my cycling decision. Did not draw another. Well, I guess yeah, I would have cycled Street Wraith into the Shriek Maul EOT, so nothing would have changed. Fetch, cycle, this. If I get turn 3 without an in-play enabler, that's pretty bad beats. Usually Storm has to actually resolve one of its 2 mana permanents, either Pyromancer Ascension or Goblin Electromancer. If it doesn't have one of those, it's usually in trouble. in terms of going off on 3, but it can usually. I guess my opponent has played a ton of cantrips. You have to have a lot of very specific cards to go off, though. Otherwise, like you need a lot of rituals is really the big deal. Like the critical mass, without Seething Song because that was banned years ago, is that you end up in these spots where like your rituals are only generating +1, so it's really hard on turn 3 to get to like enough to Past in Flames with mana floating to like do a bunch of stuff, unless you are Ascensioning, in which case you duplicate your rituals, or Electromancing, in which case you are adding effective extra. Uh, doesn't really matter because I'm not gonna. So worth noting on that fetch, if I was worried about actually drawing another Living End, it's possible I just leave the extra card in my library, but because I have, non-revealed, not worried about extras, it doesn't matter. Uh, let's see if I can find. If I can find a Beast Within or a Fulminator. There we go. There's still like a very good chance that I'm dead here, but this at least. Let's see. Well, it has 0 counters and my opponent's stuck on mana. They have cantripped a bunch of times, so I probably put myself at like 40% to live. Yeah, against 7 cards in hand, add a Past in Flames already in graveyard. 40% isn't too far off. Though I guess they have used a lot of double cantrips already, so they've already probed twice. They've already. So they let on probe. So they drew the Ascension off the probe. Otherwise, they would have played the Ascension and then probed to get a counter on it. So actually, that implies that I'm in a better spot than I thought I was. Might be like 60% to win the game. So Shriek Maws are coming out for sure. Trying to fight over Electromancer is always a losing battle. Or not always, but often. Well, let's see if I get another turn. So they can Pass in Flames with. Yep, 1 floating. Cool. The fact that they're having 2 Ravings is pretty exciting. Oh, wow, they're at 2, so they can't even probe. Why did they go to 2? Do they only have 1 island in their deck? Or is the other island in their hand? They usually have 2 islands, right? It's like 2 islands and 1 or 2 mountains? I don't think they needed to fetch the Steam Hens. They could have flashed back to probe and gotten a card deeper. Grape Shot for 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, they needed to get red. That's what it was, because they needed a Pyretic, so they did have to go to 2. I'm so used to Storm, like, not being choked on red, but being choked on blue. Uh, they could have. Did they need 5 floating? They did. Okay. Well, yeah, they could have killed 2 creatures, and then I just Shriek Maw there. Or Demonic Dread. I like Demonic Dread because it's slightly more embarrassing to lose to the camp block. So this card's good, and this card's good. Storm is a graveyard deck. And these cards are not good. I don't think Dark Dwellers is very good here. It's kind of slow. Like every other card in my deck. I don't know, maybe that? Prevent short kills? I guess, no, excuse me. Looping Beast Within is actually powerful enough that I want to leave this. Though, being able to dump an extra creature is kind of a thing. I don't mind that. Just being able to put a card into my graveyard. They sometimes have Swan Song, but whatever. Or at least the deck had Swan Song the last time I played it, which was 2 years ago now. Yeah, this hand's fine. I have 4 draws, 5 draws to find a second land. I also have a Beast Within. Though, like, being on the draw, it might just not matter. I guess that's a slight difference between the Ravings and the looting builds. The looting builds, as promoted by Andrew Shrout, are a little better at some of the early kills. So here's now an interesting question. Do I want to put Architects or Deadshot into my graveyard? I think there's an argument both ways. If I put Architects in the bin, I can potentially disrupt my... they've cast so many cantrips, their hand's just going to be the cards they want anyways. I'd rather do this so that I can make a Beast Within token and not have it be a giant disaster. Sure, no need to Street Wraith yet. Of. Is there a reason to cycle first? Yeah, I don't mind that. I'll cycle Architects before fetching. It's like marginally better. I'll cycle Street Wraith before fetching because I think it's marginally better. Cool. See, super marginal. 9 power in graveyard. Another 4. I don't think Storm really has like a graveyard shuffle effect that I'm too concerned about. Killing that. I don't know what it is. Oh, I can't kill that. Well, I'll kill the thing that they play with this mana. Well, I can't kill that. I want to kill... Like, put a permanent into play, please. I want to kill it. I have lethal in a single attack here. Because of the actual text of this magic card. So 3, 3, 3, 4, 13 plus 4, 17. Blood Moon. That's an awkward one. I did not play around that. Huh. Getting slightly punished for my sequencing here. Well, I should have cycled before playing my land. Yep. Well, lesson learned. If I had fetched a forest like I had originally planned to, this game would be over. Actually, I'm not even sure if it... Yeah, it'd probably be pretty close to over. I would have... Actually, I couldn't have cycled the... Well, I would have fetched... Cycled the... Yeah, I would have actually... No, I would have had Xaxes. Yeah, probably dead to that in one. Well, that doesn't do anything. Oh, I don't know why lightning bolt's in my opponent's deck. That's really weird. Mediocre beatdown train. Let's go. What is my opponent's hand? Probably like lands and more blood moons or something? Well, the good news is my opponent has made their deck very bad at comboing. So if these post-forward games, I can just put a basic land into play, I should be okay. John Charm is just the perfect card against Storm, whether they like empty the Warrens you or whatever. Not that I'm going to lose to empty the Warrens, just mostly just pointing it out. Single out? Well, we're getting closer. If my opponent had a bolt, they could have triggered Ascendancy anyway, so it doesn't matter. Oh, I should have saved that for a really weird reason, which is that, um, yeah, I shouldn't have cast it. I don't want it to be in play in case my opponent like short grape shots it. I want it to be in hand so I can cast it right into a demonic dread. Though I am on my last living end. Uh, I believe I boarded out the Dark Dwellers here. Oh, there we go. It's like Anger of the Gods or something. Oh, this is just Past in Flames, which is probably lethal. I haven't done the math, but I'm just going to assume I'm dead. Oh, yeah, I will. It's only. Yeah, I don't want to keep playing if I get hit. Opponent has literal millions of mana. They draw approximately their entire deck. Yeah, I'll concede there. That's enough for me. Worth noting, in those spots, you can actually. My opponent's supposed to put the second copy on the stack and then start thought scouring themselves in response, so that any cards that they put into the graveyard gain flashback when the actual Past in Flames resolves. Anything that beats Blood Moon? No. Okay. Don't screw up next game. Good. Ooh. Want to know what he's playing at undefeated? Probably Eldrazi. Hand not so good. No black mana, demonic dread, not what I want. Much better. I do need to find a way to put a creature into play, but I guess I already have that. I could use more card draw. And by I already have that, I mean I have the Verdant Catacombs to the Dryad Arbor. The only thing worth noting is that in this matchup, I have to be careful about Lightning Bolt because my opponent's shown that to me. That works very well with what I'm planning on doing. Give my opponent a creature and then Thought Scour. Yep. Hitting Probe is kind of bad for us because that means that they have an Ascendant. I guess I get to blow up the Ascension, but it makes their Ascension more likely to start activating quickly. Street Wraith. Let's think about this. 12, 18. So I have lethal in a single attack. Yeah, let's see what's up. That's not what I wanted. That's more to my liking. A swamp, or do I want... I need a swamp, right? For the Demonic Dread? Because I need to cycle and find a land before I even think about what I'm doing. That's not a land. Perfect. So, I think I'm supposed to KO... If I KO those... I think I have to kill this, but... I don't mind putting my opponent in a spot where they have to rebuild significantly to continue doing stuff. I also like... I'm leaving them with the Ascension specifically... So partly because I want them to commit to doing more stuff, but also because if they tap out their red mana, I can Beast within the Ascension, and then they can't Lightning Bolt it to clear their creature for Demonic Dread, which is pretty huge, actually. Yeah, I have way more than lethal in one attack, so... Cool. Had the read. They pass back doing nothing. I think I'm still supposed to Beast Within. Play a second. Yeah. Boom! Both cards. Um, this definitely has to die. So 6. They play a second. I think I might go. Going after the lands is super awkward. I just respond to whatever puts the second counter on it. I don't actually have to do anything yet. Okay. Yeah, see here, that's where you can just leave the party. I guess, no, that was actually a mistake. I should have waited till after the end of the phase, because I don't think for a single red my opponent can do anything scary. They're probably going to bolt their own beast, and I'm going to get... Oh, no? Cool. Cool. Good luck. Uh, you will need it. Especially because I have a Falter Demonic Dread in hand. The fact that you have a single red... I mean, I could die to an Electromancer. You can always just die to Electromancer. But... this is kind of just like the waiting game of did my opponent have it or not. Yeah, I definitely should have waited till end step on that Ascension. Because there's just not... I can't imagine a thing my opponent can jumpstart out of a single red mana. Okay. It's not Electromancer. Oh, it's... Wait. Okay. Reasonable. Beat a very bad matchup. That's pretty lucky.